Hello guys, Luke here, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be looking at a new keyboard I just picked up, which is the Corsair K70 RGB LUX. Now this keyboard is a fully mechanical RGB backlit keyboard. It is per key backlit, so you can actually adjust individual keys to be different colors. Besides the RGB, it has a lot of other features you can expect from a modern RGB mechanical keyboard. But we'll look at that shortly. First, I'm going to show you guys my existing keyboard that I'm upgrading from. Okay, here is my trusty Logitech keyboard. It is the Atlas Dawn G310. I picked this up about a year and a half, 2 years ago for around $150. It features a fully mechanical switch layout. They are Roma G switches, which is Logitech's in-house switches, so not Cherry MX or anything like that. It doesn't feature RGB either. It is just a plain blue backlight, but you can adjust the brightness of the RGB, so that's fully off. Then you got brightest and back down to off. One feature I'm really going to miss from this keyboard is actually this little tray here, which pulls out at the back. This is actually sort of a stand that holds your phone, and you can install a Logitech app on your phone and it will link by Wi-Fi to your computer, which can show information about your PC like temperatures and CPU, core clock and everything like that. A really handy feature. It can also show gameplay elements as well. It's just so it's vertical, so it's easier to see instead of having it flat on the desk. So that was my existing keyboard. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Corsair K70. And here is the Corsair K70 now unboxed. You can see here I've already replaced some of the keys. This keyboard actually comes with spare keys for gaming, so I've installed the FPS switch set. Well, basically they are sort of like concave keys. You can see here the normal keys are just flat topped. They're a little bit concave, like towards the center of each key. But these keys are actually centered towards each other. So when gaming, the idea is this helps to avoid your fingers drifting over. Say if you've taken your hand off the keyboard to drink or whatever, and you haven't looked down at your keyboard, you put your hand back on, you can definitely feel the texture on these keys, so you won't miss them easily. For example, if you end up putting your hand here, you can tell from the texture of the S key here that you've moved your hand too far over, so you move them back, and here we go. Now you can feel the texture of the D, W, and the A. Really handy feature. This comes with sort of MMO MOBA key sets as well, which replace the Q, W, E, R, D, and F keys, so that all your hotkeys you can feel the texture, so you won't lose your hand position. The light's blinking up here. It means we're receiving power from the system. Unfortunately, it doesn't come backlit out of the box, so this is just plugged in straight away. I haven't installed any software. This comes with a nice soft rubber wrist rest as well, so that's quite nice. My wrist will actually now rest on the wrist rest instead of on the G310. It's resting on the mouse mat, whereas with this, my wrist actually sits on the wrist rest. It doesn't feel like it's ever going to slip off or anything. Whereas this one is a sort of a plastic, so that your wrist will actually slip. Also, this is a full keyboard including number pad. Back when I bought my Logitech G310, I soon found I was missing the numpad, especially for games such as GTA 5, where if you're flying like a helicopter or a plane, those keys really come in handy for flying. On my old keyboard, I had to assign the flight keys to like sort of I, J, K, and L. So I have two, like one hand here, one hand here, which wasn't ideal. I kind of wish it was just, you know, on a numpad. I could have bought an external numpad, but that's just another peripheral to manage. And they're quite expensive actually, like external numpads. So instead we're upgrading to a full keyboard here. You can get the K70 in a version without the numpad if you want to go that route. But I find that it's just handy, especially for Excel spreadsheets. So now I reckon we should get the software installed and have a look at the RGB. Okay guys, you can see here I have installed the Corsair keyboard software. It's just defaulted to like a spindle rainbow effect. Now you can see the keyboard. I really don't like this mode. It's kind of garish. Soon I'll be setting it probably to one color. The special keys here I've installed, they're also RGB, but you can see that they're not as noticeable or bright as the other keys. They are still RGB. The light still shines through the letter, but it's not as noticeable. As you can see the lighting underneath each key as well. I really like the underkey lighting of the keyboard, so I'm going to go ahead now and just choose a much less garish profile for lighting. Since I'm about to change my color settings, guys, I thought I'd show you the pre-installed color themes that the keyboard comes with. Of course, we've got here the very garish spiral rainbow setting, but if we look down here, we've got rainbow wave. This just goes from bottom to top, all the different colors. Then we have visor. I actually really like this one. I still wouldn't use it day to day though. When I'm gaming, I don't want anything to distract me. Probably end up setting this to a static color in the beginning. I might go to an RGB setting later on. Then we have here rain effect. I actually really like the look of this one too. I'll show you the keyboard right now. It looks quite cool. Again, it's a bit distracting, so I probably wouldn't go with this. This is a good like display one, I reckon. Going down the list as well, we've got here color shift. So this will simply have every key the same color and then shift through all the available RGB colors. Under color shift, we have color pulse. So this will basically pulse one color, fade down to black, then pulse another color. Then we have color wave. So again, this is very similar to the visor effect. Seems to be just a bit wider key selection when going across. Then we have type lighting. So I am now going to type on the keyboard, and as you can see, it lights those keys and then fades to black shortly after. And I kind of like this too. They do linger for quite a while. Of course, you can change that here. You've got duration setting here. It's set to medium by default. So yeah, the type one's quite cool. Next we have type lighting ripple. So this time when we press a key, it will ripple several colors throughout the keyboard. I really like this one as well. Again, a little bit distracting. When playing an FPS, you'll be moving like this, and your keyboard will just be going crazy with colors. So I don't know, this one for daily use I probably won't go with. Next we have video playback visualizer. At the moment it will show nothing, but if we play a video of some sort, I'm guessing it will respond to the video or audio levels somehow. Next we have microphone visualizer. So this is very similar. So this should respond to microphone inputs. Currently it's not doing that. Anyway, I'll check this out later. Going down the list still, we've got static color, which is probably what I'll be using. It defaults just to white backlight. I'll probably be setting this to blue to match my system. As you can see over here, we've got blue LEDs, blue RAM, blue graphics card in my system, and my blue mouse. So I guess we'll be setting this to blue for the most part. That's kind of why I got my G310 Atlas Dawn in the first place. There was a blue backlight. I wanted to keep the same color scheme as the rest of my system. We're nearly at the end of the color pre-selections now. We've got lighting link. I actually don't know what this does. Lighting link must be a setting where you can link your colors with other RGB components in your system. So I'm guessing if you have other Corsair products in your system, such as Corsair RAM and a Corsair CPU cooler and stuff, you can link the lighting profile with those components as well, so they all change lighting profiles at the same time and they're the same colors and everything like that. Okay, so that is the end of the default lighting effects. Again, I'll just be going with a static color for this one. So most of the time this will be static. If I want to show off for any reason, I'll probably be changing it back to RGB, some sort of color wave, or the visor effect I really liked, and the rain effect was pretty cool too. Okay guys, and now for the main reason why I picked up a new keyboard is because I wanted to get quiet switches. So this keyboard, as I said in the beginning, has Cherry MX Brown switches. The spacebar tends to be a little noisy, but as far as all the other keys go, they're pretty good. I mean, if you've got your key, you've got your hands on it the whole time, yeah, you're really not going to hear much here. Compared to my old keyboard, the Roma G switches actually tend to be a bit quieter, believe it or not. It's really surprising. I thought Cherry MX Brown was quieter. I guess it won't matter too much. It doesn't really pick up on the microphone anyway when I'm gaming. So let's have a quick look at the sound differences between the two keyboards. I'll press one of the keys here a little bit. Pretty clicky. Yeah, the G310 Atlas Dawn is definitely a touch quieter. That's a bit disappointing. I really wanted a quiet keyboard. Still, I love all the features of this keyboard anyway. Even the media controls, I like how the volume is actually just a roll bar here instead of buttons. It's just really easy and quick to adjust volume if you want, instead of like holding down an audio key or whatever and holding a function key. It also has up here gaming mode. So this button here, if we press it, that'll be gaming mode, which most keyboards have nowadays. So that means we can no longer press the Windows key, nothing happens. And we have here backlight levels. So that's off, then 1, 2, 3. That is the brightest backlit setting, and then back to off. So I guess we'll have it at brightest. Over here we have our media keys. As I said before, we've got our mute key, media controls here. Other than that, guys, that's pretty much it for this keyboard as far as features go. You've got, of course, on the back here, let me just lift it up, we have our BIOS switch. I still haven't read up what this actually does yet. We have our USB pass-through. I don't know yet whether this is USB 3 or USB 2. We'll have to find that out as well. Okay guys, I'm testing out the USB pass-through. I have the pass-through cable plugged into a USB 3 port on the front of my PC. Unfortunately, it doesn't appear that the pass-through will work with portable hard drives. As you can see on my monitor here, the hard drive keeps connecting and disconnecting over and over. Oh no, there we go, see? Connects. and then it disconnects. So doesn't work with those. Let me try a flash drive. Okay, I've plugged in a USB flash drive. This is a 16 gig USB 2.0 flash drive, so not 3.0. So unfortunately unable to test a flash drive with USB 3 capability, but it seems like it will connect and it will work. We have here my recovery USB. That does work with the pass-through. Portable hard drives, it seems it doesn't like to pass through. I guess it doesn't provide enough amps for the portable hard drive to pass through. But I'm sure since the USB thumb drive will work, you can expect mice, headsets and other peripherals to work through this port. As for the BIOS switch on the back of the keyboard, I have a feeling it just changes to different profiles. So you can see here on BIOS level number 1, it defaults to a red RGB layout with white RGB keys for the WSAD keys and the arrows. So yeah, if we switch backwards and forwards here, you can change different profiles, set different lighting profiles and everything like that. Macros probably as well. It's a handy feature to use. I probably won't be using this much. I'll probably just be leaving it on one profile, and then if I want to change it, I'll just change it in the software. Alright guys, that is going to conclude my video on the Corsair K70 LUX RGB keyboard. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like down below, subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you guys around the channel. Alright, have a good one.